So last Tuesday we talked about the potential breakout, and that's on the Monday, Tuesday bar. So somewhere around here is approaching the resistance without incurring a lot of the supply level. So that's actually a very healthy sign. And if we look at this up channel, so that's really just a straightforward uptrend. We have a high low throughout, and that's traveling within this up channel. So very standard, very straightforward. And last week, since last Tuesday, S&P 500 finally has a breakout and also commitment above this axis line. So that's a very healthy sign. Once it's breaking out and it just stay above and commit above this axis line where the previous resistance now become a support. So next target for S&P 500 would be the middle part of the channel. So, or we can just view this as the demand line or the resistance of the channel. So it has been tested quite a few times, but recently here doesn't really go into that channel part. So 60 through 6200 could be the next level until we see some form of the change of character. So things like this, with the increasing of the supply, increasing of the velocity to the downside, means that it's just a straight to the downside, and also increasing of the price spread, big candle, bearish candle. So compared to the past, look at all this huge volatility. A lot of the volatility incur here, and here is a lot better. So it has been tested from a high low, and look at all this pullback, very shallow type of a pullback. So it's likely to just keep going up and until we see some increasing of the supply, maybe similar to here or even here. So that's still localized increase of the supply, but not as excessive like here or even here. Okay, so let's just monitor whether it will just incur a lot of the supply when it's approaching 6200. But so far, as long as this axis line is holding up well, then the direction is still up. So that is the level at about 6050. Okay, so 6050 is the axis line, and you really need to see it's holding up well. But of course, it could get a bit choppy and just chop around, come back, test and consolidate a little bit here. And if we look at this channel and also extend it a little bit, okay, so I don't really want to see a breakdown of the channel, like something like this, a bearish bar break below this up channel. And if that happened, then we could see some kind of the choppy movement and also consolidation as well. So as long as it's still traveling within the channel, and that acts as a support line or a demand line as a support. So test it a few times. As long as this is holding up well, it's likely to just keep going up until we see the increase of the supply and also some bearish action. Okay, so immediate direction is up, and medium term direction, I mean the swing direction, definitely is still up. The swing is still ongoing, and long term high low throughout definitely is up. Very straightforward, very simple, and very clear uptrend. So let's take a look at the other few index. So Nasdaq, there's a bit of the rotation into Nasdaq. So since this level 21k 21,000, here we have a breakout of the localized resistance level 21,000 and followed by the next level 21,200, and it just kind of commit above, break above, and traveling, still progress upwards. So that's very good sign. And take a look at this big structure. Okay, a structure, a cup and handle structure or a rounding bottom type structure, and just break out and commit above. And most importantly, I don't really see a ton of the supply coming out when it's actually breaking above this resistance line at about 22, 21, 200. So here, the first time it approached this resistance level, we have seen a reaction, but not that scary. Localized increase of the supply, and subsequently supply has been decreasing while it's consolidating, and recently just have a consistent demand and followed by holding up the gain. Still, volume looks very healthy and very normal, so nothing unusual yet. um, Next level could be going into the channel overbought, means something like here, so correspond to this level. It could be around 23,000 level. Okay, so let's see whether we could travel to this level. And back to Russell. So Russell is still looking quite healthy and interesting as well, because there's a huge accumulation structure which we discussed many times, and this structure is still valid, although quite choppy along the way. So look at all this, so choppy movement, chop around, but recent price action is still considered as very constructive. We have this sharp impulsive movement, but also followed by quite an impulsive down move. And currently, this is also a pullback, and it's testing the previous reaction. So the previous reaction actually comes with quite consistent of the supply level, and also increasing of the bearish spread as well. So that's definitely need to be tested. And currently, this is the test, and I still do not see a reversal yet. So this testing is still unfolding. So until we see a breakout of this immediate downtrend line, or if we look at this horizontal type of a resistance level, it could be around 24.35, 24.40. So that is the level that I want to see it coming above, and followed by a breakout and stay above of this previous swing high level. Okay, but so far this is still very constructive. And if that happens, then we could anticipate a lot of the rotation into the RTY, the Russell 2000, the IWM ETF. So looking very constructive at the moment. And while Dow Jones, okay, click the wrong one. So let's just back to here. So Dow Jones here is high low structure throughout, and is at the upper part of the up channel. So overbought, have a pullback, back to overbought again. So stay overbought. So that is quite a interesting and constructive sign, because every time, or at least during the past, whenever it hit the overbought, we have seen a reaction. So another reaction here. So here's another one. But since this overbought and also overthrow, something has changed. Although we have seen a reaction is considered as shallow, and also there is resuming of the momentum to push into a higher high as well. So that's something I think is considered as quite constructive, because that could signal a change of the gradient of the up channel. So it means that this up channel could come to an end, and it could adjust it to maybe another gradient. Okay, so that could be the gradient of the up channel, and it could just traveling along this up channel. But overall, that's still very constructive, and supply has been decreasing while it's holding up the gain, forming a bullish flag. So let's see whether it could just break out and go up, or maybe come back, pull back, test this bullish momentum bar, and then to consolidate a little bit before it move up, while it's rotating, while the money is actually rotating into other segment as well. And let's take a look at crude and also other few instruments. So crude oil, as I discussed quite a few times, since the struggle of breakout and also commit above the exit zone 72 to 74, we could just sort of anticipate more weakness to come. And another thing to pay attention to is this lower high structure throughout. So that's not a good sign for the crude oil. So if it still struggle to break out and come in above 72 to 74, and then keep forming a lower high structure throughout, then chances for crude oil to break the support level is quite high. It's likely to challenge about 65, and with another attempt to bounce. And if it still fail, then it could just tank and break the major support level, and that could trigger some acceleration to the downside. So just watch out for that. And in terms of Bitcoin, very constructive. Finally, the target of 100K is just hit, and it's still sort of commit above. Let's probably draw a line here. So that's actually previous resistance level. So this bar actually tested 100K, 100,000, and followed by some volatility with increasing of the supply. And most important thing is that we need to check whether we have a immediate follow through to the downside. So this is quite a constructive sign. We don't really have immediate follow through to the downside, although we have this volatility bar and followed by a few more constructive bar. However, it could still sort of consolidate for maybe one week or two, or maybe just sort of break out and come in above before it go up. So of course, the second scenario is what I really prefer. And just based on the analog that we discussed last Tuesday, around current probably this week, we could probably see another attempt of the breakout, and then it could change it to switch it to the uptrend rather than just consolidation. So that's just back to the 2020 December analog in Bitcoin, which we really just discussed last Tuesday. So that's still considered as constructive, but we really want to see there won't be any follow through to the downside. So if suddenly supply just came in and it could chop around, then it's still stuck at this consolidation or trading range. But so far, this is looking very constructive, and that could really bring some excitement and also bullish momentum into the crypto related stocks. And a lot of the miners already up and is very extended, so we still need to be very selective to pick the right one. I mean, Robinhood, Coinbase, so these are the two stocks that are in the later watch list and setups. So we'll briefly talk about the setup as well. And in terms of gold futures, this is still a consolidation structure after it broke broke below this immediate uptrend line. So first we have a change of character, and after that it's still testing. So supply has been decreasing. This is constructive. So until we see a breakout of the immediate downtrend line, it could probably still have another test of the axis line here, and that would be around 2560 or 2570. So we want to see a breakout and also another retest of the high here. Okay, so it could take some time to chop around and consolidate. Similarly, silver is looking good in terms of the long-term structure, but short-term, there's still a lot of the choppiness involved. So buying at a support level could be a good choice. So that's the immediate downtrend line has been broken, and that could be a nice entry while we have a stop loss just below this axis line. Okay, that's the axis line. And next one, dollar index. So in terms of the dollar index, after its ever strong and impulsive movement, tested the previous swing high as a target. So that is one way. Tested, have a reaction, change of character, still consolidating, but look at this pullback consolidation is very shallow. So that's quite a shallow type of a pullback. So that's still considered as very healthy. So if it break out of this flag type of a structure, it could resume its uptrend or upswing. So right now is just consolidating after maybe 2 months of the impulsive up move. Okay, so there's a descending wedge or wedge structures forming. So if you break out from here, we could see another test, and that is likely another handles forming before it moves higher. Okay, so that's a dollar index.